Hi there, welcome back to the Norwegian Woods. I'm Eivind F Skjellum. I am the founder of Reclaim You on a Throne, the powerful rite of passage for men. And I'm back today with another controversial topic. A couple of days ago, I read Charles Eisenstein's essay, The Coronation, which is many ways overlapping with my own ideas. I've had the great privilege of having a lot of powerful conversations with Charles over the last couple of years, and I resonated a lot with those ideas, as did many of you who read it. And there is one of those that I want to drill further into, which is this issue of fear of death. Charles was speaking in the essay about how the Western medical establishment's main purpose is to ensure that people don't die. They don't have any focus on helping people die well. And as he was reflecting, he was reminding me of the things that I've been thinking about a lot. Because I created my life's work after I was on a 5-year fierce rite of passage with chronic illness. I really had to face the possibility of dying. And I was very much alone with that inquiry. It was a possibility that I was actually on some level nurturing internally. I was feeding my fear of death, maybe unconsciously, in order to get closer to feeling what that might be like. And after I recovered in 2017, I've been way closer to my own mortality and the knowledge that I will die someday. And you know, it has served me immeasurably. And I see all around me this almost fake worship of life. When I read someone write on Facebook these days, "I love my life," heart, I don't believe them. What I believe is that they're not super happy, but they're trying to convince themselves that they're doing well. The game that we're all playing with ourselves, that are somehow our lives are so wonderful and that death is so far away, is a fucking sham. It's not true. Death is ever close, and COVID-19 has made this all the more clear to us. Let me create a little bit of historical backdrop for the ideas I will share with you. So there was a paradigm of human civilization that came to its full shadowy expression throughout the 2 world wars, and when we saw the horrible destruction wrought by weapons of mass destruction, nuclear bombs, but also this genocidal impulse of killing all of the Jews and ethnic cleansing and all these things. It was like the shadow of the industrial mindset had fully taken hold of humanity, and we saw the ugly terrors of what that brought. And so from that, we came to question collectively if the industrial, rationalist, machine-like way of looking at the world was really sufficient, if it was really even beautiful to begin with. And so in that, we had an emergence of new sensitivity, empathy. This really gave rise to the women's liberation. It gave rise to the hippie movement. It gave rise to the human's right document written by the United Nations. So we all came together holding the sanctity of human life close to our hearts. What also happened, and we didn't talk so much about this, was that we were getting increasingly afraid of death. Kids started living more and more sheltered lives. We become more and more obsessive about hygiene, about being safe. We started, as we were worshipping life, I love my life, we were becoming increasingly fearful of death. By now, the death angst is almost overpowering. And we have come to a place where we seem to eagerly give away civil liberties in order to feel a little safer. And that is, in large part, what Charles's whole essay was about. Now, I think the essential truth of that assertion, that life is sacred, the individual sacred, is absolutely vital for our culture. We need to honor the individual liberty, the individual's freedom to put himself or herself into the world, to be, in a way, the final unit of culture. It is the individual. But now, in this wave that came after the Second World War, where we have become so politically correct and so hateful towards anything that is masculine, I really come to question this paradigm, if it's made us slaves of our own "I love my life." A lot of people talk about this time as a time of narcissism. And a lot of the time, the focus is on me having a wonderful life in our culture today. This focus on the individual, holding the vulnerability, holding the sanctity of the individual, has been corrupted. It has mutated into a self-serving focus on me and my needs. And it's come to the point where, as an individual, I am more focused on what I'm supposed to receive than what I'm supposed to give out. And since I'm in this place of receiving, I need to receive. When I'm in this place of needing to receive, I become a lot more afraid of the world. The level of existential vulnerability that is actually so close at every given moment, the chaos is just an inch away all the time. Because all of those systems that I depend on are outside of my control. If the systems stop working, if I stop getting my rights and needs met, then death is really close indeed. So this is a thing that I'm thinking about quite a lot in this moment. This pseudo-worship of the sanctity of life, I don't even think it's a real worship. Our popular culture has taken the emergence that came from the Human Rights Declaration and all of the beautiful breakthroughs in embracing more of the intimacy, more of the lover archetype, more of the vulnerability in our culture. This was very necessary. But we didn't take the next step. We didn't take the step of embracing that, of realizing our needs, and then from that level of intimacy with ourselves and from that level of ability to communicate what I need to the world, moving into the world and serving the world. We didn't take that step. Instead, we blamed masculinity. In times of utter decadence, we started talking about toxic masculinity and about how victimized we were. Why are we so willingly giving away our sovereignty? Why are we so willingly making it about someone else not giving us what I want and need? is a real conundrum for me. That is not to say that we don't need good systems, systems with empathy, systems that serve the people. We need that more than anything. But if that's the singular focus of the people being served and just expecting to get it without doing anything, we're living in a very unbalanced life. We are being invited at every moment of our life to step in and to give ourselves to the world. And that will always, forevermore, require that we become intimate with death. Because purpose, service, characteristics of the warrior archetype. When we show up in a powerful way in the world, you can be damned sure that people will line up in ways that indicate they want to get rid of you. It hurts. It's painful. We feel lonely and depressed at times. But at the same time, we get to feel a life emerging, an authentic life emerging from being close to ourselves, close to our death, and stepping into the world. We are no longer a prisoner of our own responsibilities and needs. I mean, a prisoner of our own rights and needs. We're not excessively focused on how sacred my life is, which eventually degenerates into narcissism, where I'm just like, oh, don't you see how sacred I am? Don't you see what a divine being I am? How dare you criticize me? I'm divine. I'm a god. I'm a goddess. I'm so special, infinitely special. How dare you question the Godhead itself? Ugly. The worst kind of narcissism that leads eventually to psychopathology. We are done with that paradigm of human consciousness. If we value human civilization, as well as this beautiful nature, sitting around worshipping my sacred life without actually living the sanctity of human autonomy, of human sovereignty. Yeah, takes us nowhere. And that's my belief and hope in this moment. I really pray for this, that we manage to move on now, embracing truly that death is ever present as a potential, and in that being initiated into responsibility, into service, into sovereignty. It's a beautiful day, beautiful nature. I love my life. See you in the next video.